101. Working my way up to Paso Robles. Paso Robles. Getting pretty hungry and it's freaking cold as hell. Of course, a lot of people are gonna laugh at me. It's not cold, you're in California. You can ride, it's not cold. To me, to my sensitive California skin, it's cold. Not only that, it's like sustained cold. But I got a heated vest on, so that's helping a lot. It's like this balance between heat and cold. If I hadn't worn it, I'd be miserable. So yeah, interesting views, 101. It's funny, I put the earplugs back in. It's actually still a little loud for me. I'm actually getting some earplugs made from Avery Sound, which are going to be form-fitted. That's going to be much better sound dampening. Unfortunately, UPS lost the last mold I got, so I got to get another mold made. But no worries. So yeah, I wanted to talk about helmets real quick. For years I had worn an Arai medium, right? Whether it's a Signet Q or the Signet or the Profile. Not a Signet Q, the Signet or the Profile. Signet was the long oval shape that Arai had, you know, way back when, 2002, or actually 2000. That's when I got it, the original Signet. And then, eventually they replaced the Signet with the Profile, which was slightly less long oval. It was more of an intermediate oval. And a lot of people were clamoring for that long oval to come back. You know, a lot of the true long oval head shapes, like myself, wanted their long oval. So, eventually, Arai brought back the Signet Q, which is a redone Signet, 5mm longer than the Profile. And look at these people side by side. Dirt! How about one of you go in front of the other? You're going the same speed, you dumb fucks! So yeah, I read, or I saw online, that there was an Arai person, like someone from Arai North America, who was fitting people for helmets. And he was saying that generally you can go a size down from what you think. And then, you know, your eyes should be in the middle of the viewport, all that good stuff. Basically, you're protecting your brain, not your face. So, what I did is when I got my Signet Q, I actually went down a size, so I'm in a small instead of a medium. What I should add is Arai has 5 different shell shapes. 5 shell shapes. Now, Icon Armada, and I was singing their praises, has 4 shell shapes. But Arai actually has 5. So it turns out that the medium and the large helmets from Arai have the same shell, which is effing large, I'm sure. Too large for me. So it gives me that lollipop head look. And the Arai small, Signet Q and small, is actually a smaller shell shape. I'm guessing all the other shell shapes are near the end of the spectrum, near the larger sizes. I could be wrong, maybe there's an extra small that's even smaller. But the small is actually more fitting to me as far as shell shape goes, and there's less interference when I turn my head because it's a smaller shell shape. So keep that in mind. Not only do you want to get into the right size helmet, and not only might it be a size smaller than you're used to, which is why you got to try on different helmets and get the smallest one you can fit into, but know that there's different shell shapes, and the smaller shell shape you get, the better it's going to look, especially if you're a shorter rider. You don't want this giant helmet on your head, especially if it's the wrong size. So keep that in mind, boys and girls. So yeah, the small, at first I thought it'd be too tight, but it's actually pretty good. And what I did is I removed 5mm of cheek pad from each side, 5mm, and those are the tearaway cheek pads that Arai designs for that purpose. So you can customize the fit. So there's that. Alright, I'll come back online when I get closer to the destination. Oh shit. Hey guys, this is XxXDeadhead, and we're switching bikes, and I'm gonna try out the 883. I know, the U-turn's gonna be tough. I keep oh, watch your foot when you get on with the camera. Yeah. Okay, how the hell? Where's the key at? Oh. Am I recording? Neutral. Oh crap. Keep your motor running. Okay, hopefully I don't crash it. This riding position is crazy. It's hard to let out the clutch. The friction zone is in a weird place. That's a blind corner. Okay, this is crazy as hell, but it's interesting. Can't see on my right side. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's pull over here. Yeah, this is, it's very comfortable. I'm not used to having my feet up like this. Huh? Yeah. We're like a couple of noobs because we're not used to each other's bikes yet. You got to give it a lot of gas on the Harley. It's comfortable. Different than a sport bike. The friction zone's a little far out for me. But that's okay. Different shift points. I think I'm in too high a gear. hit the pegs. Interesting position, very different seating position than I'm used to. Comfortable. I keep saying the same stuff over and over. Mirrors they take a little getting used to, because I'm kind of looking under my arms, which actually makes a lot of sense. Torquey, very torquey. The turning is so different. It's like your pivot leverage is very different on this bike. You know, Dave took to that bike, XxXDeadhead Deadhead, he took to that bike very well. He's got no trouble with the Gixxer. I don't even think he's ridden a Gixxer before, or a sport bike. You know how to ride one bike, you can ride them all, really. You just gotta get used to the bike's handling, you know? Peculiar handling features. One thing about this seating position is you gotta sort of fight to keep your feet on the pegs. You know, your feet, gravity is not really your friend. Gravity does not necessarily want your feet on the pegs here. To say I like my bike better, but this is a very interesting experience. It reminds me of the Sportster I rode in Hawaii. It's just a lot nicer Sportster than the one I rode. You know, once you just accept the new experience that you have, you know, you take the motorcycle on its own merits and enjoy it for what it is. I really just love the frenetic, the very focused orientation of a sport bike for almost all situations. Surprisingly, these mirrors are better than my bike, just because they're in a better location. You know, my arms are up and the mirrors are down. Turning, well, my bike turns way better, but I would expect that from a sport bike. position depends what you're doing. This thing is very accessible. It's just so accessible. You know, you just jump on. You don't even have to lift your leg up to get on it very much. You just sit on it and you're in this transportation device thingy. On a sport bike, you're just very committed all the time, no matter what you're doing. And, you know, that can get old, depending on your personal inclinations, what you're doing, your geometry, whatever. I probably look hilarious on this thing. I'm in full leathers. Space leathers on a cruiser. I do like the look of this cruiser though. As cruisers go, it's quite nice. There's no tack on this thing that I can see. So now I'm going to be one of those cruiser riders that waves at everybody. The turning feels it's very stable, but it doesn't turn as well, as readily. It doesn't like to change direction as much as I'm used to. And that's fine. It's a cruiser. Really great for cruising. I mean, like, it's so effortless just to keep a line, and that's what it likes to do. It likes to keep a line. And that's okay. Not a two-finger breaker like my bike, but pretty good. Pretty good for a cruiser. Take it easy because I don't know the road. Okay, this thing does not rev high, so why am I revving it so high? I don't know. I'm just used to my bike. I guess I don't trust that low down torque because I keep thinking, you know, it's gonna stall. But it's not gonna stall. Yeah, it's just nippy out today. Today's not a warm day. Very cool, man. Now, I couldn't have gone much faster than that.
You're recording, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So,
how do you feel about turning?
I don't like it as much as my bike for turning, but I expect that from a cruiser. It's more relaxed. This thing likes to hold the line. So what's great about this is if you're cruising, it's very little effort. You can hold your line and you can just go at a nice, comfortable pace. This, you can change direction very easily. So that's one big difference, but you're just a lot more committed all the time. So this, depending on what you're doing, it's just a lot more comfortable. It's like,
170 miles. If you had to go 170 miles.
I still prefer that.
Yes?
Yeah, because even though it's a comfortable position, my feet just feel like they're coming off the pegs all the time, and I'm just used to it. I'm used to it.
It's weird that you say that, because when I rode the like the Fat Bob, and the Nightster and all that stuff, or the Night Rod, I felt, because the pegs were forward mounted.
Right.
And so when I went up to speed, I felt like my feet were going to fly off.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't feel that way at all with this. I definitely didn't feel that with this.
Right. Well, I feel it a little bit with this because I'm used to that. Yeah. And, you know, I'd like it, but I prefer having that sport bike, both the power and the turning. And this, you know, I kept over revving it because I'm thinking, you know, I'm used to the sport bike, but I had to let it go and just trust the torque, you know,
yeah.
Trust the torque.
Now with this bike, I kind of felt like at any given moment I might just fall right off.
Oh.
I know I'm not going to.
Right.
I kind of felt
because you're so far forward.
You're kind of like tough.
Right.
Overall though, I want one.
Yeah. Good. So you like it. This is also, as you've heard, it's one of the more comfortable sport bikes. It's very narrow, it's very easy to get your feet down, and it's just good, you know, I love it.
Now what do you think about the torque?
The torque is really good. I like the torque a lot.
I didn't feel the torque in this, but I felt the power range.
Yeah. Well, with an inline 4, this is a V-twin?
Yeah.
V-twin, so you're going to have a lot more torque here. Yeah. So this, at upper range, you'll really feel it. It's like being shot out of a cannon. Yeah. But the torque in this is nice, and you can actually let the revs go lower. Yeah. So I was actually a little high in the revs because I wasn't used to it, and then I was even saying to myself, okay, trust the torque.
On this, I always felt like I needed to shift up because I'm used to having that lower RPM cycle going.
Right. And this, you can go way high in the revs.
I don't think I went over like 6,000 or 7,000.
Yeah. That's typical when you come from a cruiser. Yeah. Like this, I kept over revving it because I'm used to that. Yeah. So with this, you can go up to 10K, 12K. Well, when you're really cooking it, you can. Otherwise, you don't need to. Is that your first sport bike?
First sport bike I've ever ridden.
You did really well.
Thanks.
You did really well. I mean, I was struggling to take off at first as well because letting off the clutch is a little far for me. Yeah, I have small hands, but the friction zone's kind of way out here. So I had to get used to that, and also it takes a lot of gas. So I just had to give it a lot of gas, and normally I wouldn't do that on this bike, yeah, because...
Well, I didn't have a moment where I felt like the bike was going to fly out from under me.
Yeah.
Instead I had the other side of the problem where I just didn't have like the right gas to clutch ratio. The friction zone was really close.
Right.
On this, so I would already be past the clutch
right.
before I even started giving it gas.
Yeah.
Old habits, right?
If you're used to that, then yeah. It's really nice though, man. It's a great looking bike, and the mirrors are better than my mirrors, I think, because you can see under your arms.
Your mirrors.
This is what I see on the sport bike. I see my elbows.
Yeah. My elbows were looking pretty good. I haven't seen my elbows in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these are nice, but you do have to kind of look down a little bit.
Right. But I like it. Once I got used to it, I'm like, oh, I got my little secret mirror here.
Is this your first mid-mounted pegs standard bike you've ridden on? Or as far as...
No, I've ridden a Sportster before. But I rode a Sportster, but not an 883. I rode like an older one, and it felt very similar.
This is a 1200cc.
Right. Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I bored it out.
Right.
So more power.
Yeah, it felt a lot torqueier, and but it was the same basic riding position. Yeah. It's just that this bike is a lot nicer and torqueier and better looking.
Well, the duct tape, you know, at Harley Davidson, you have to pay at least $100.
I'm surprised it's not black and orange.
It's chrome. It fell off the gas. Shenanigans, the gas.
It sucks that it would break on a little road trip like this, you know?
Totally.
Because you want to represent yourself nicely, and it looks good though, man. I love the flat black. Though you can't beat the looks. I even like this retro style tank with the flat black.
I love your headlight.
Isn't that fun?
Yoshimura pipe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yoshimura slip-on.
Sounds great.
Yeah. It's got a really good sound. It's aggressive, but it's not overly loud, you know?
Loud. I felt like it was fine. I felt like I could go, you know, a couple hundred miles on that without earplugs.
Exactly.
Hurt my ears.
How'd you like the Racetech suspension?
It was good.
Nice and firm.
How'd you like the bumps?
The what? This?
How'd you like all the bumps?
They were okay.
They weren't too bad?
I'm used to my suspension though. Yeah. And the brakes were not 2-finger, more like a 3-finger, but still pretty good. I mean, you're gonna get a little different experience on a cruiser.
Totally.
It's a beautiful area too, by the way. Look at this.
Yeah.
This is like amazing. I gotta get a shot.
Roads were fun too.